My name is Dinah Becton-Consuegra, and I am honored and thrilled to be your MC for PBL World. I am the Director of Partnership Development here, and I'd like to encourage folks to hop on Twitter, follow me, hashtag PBLWorks 2019. Actually, it's PBLWorks 19. As you go through your day, we'd love to read our Twitter feed. PBL, Powerful Beyond Life. It's a powerful acronym, isn't it? How many of you have students who've been more engaged as a result of PBL? Raise your hand. Great. Look around. That's the experience we want for all of our students, for them to feel touched, for them to be part of authentic learning. But unfortunately, that is not the world we live in. And there are many of our students who are still not able to access or have PBL. How many of you have those students in your schools? Students that cannot access PBL, are not engaged as a result, or still being left out? Raise your hand. Great. So today, I have a call for you. I want us to embrace the fragility of hope. I'm going to be telling you a story of our current world, and I just want you to remember these words. So if you look at student engagement throughout their journey from K-12, you'll see this, that as students go through their journey, engagement drops. Connected to this are chronic absenteeism, defined as 15 or more days absent in a given school year. And you see this impacting Native, Pacific Islander, Black, and Latinx students in particular with these rates. We know that school discipline is connected to this prison pipeline, and we have Black students are 3 times more likely to be expelled or suspended from school, and subsequently 3 times more likely to have encounters with the juvenile justice system in the following year. We know that Black men are 1 in 3 times likely to spend time in prison throughout their lifetime. And Latino men have a 1 in 6 chance of spending time in prison. I know this pipeline well. I am the oldest daughter of 3 children. I have 2 younger brothers who had a very different trajectory than I did. My middle brother spent many years in prison, and my youngest brother went to 5 different high schools before ultimately dropping out and getting his GED years later. I carry this burden on my shoulders every day as I look into the eyes of my 2 young sons. And I often wonder the same thing that my friend and mentor, Carlos Moreno, does. Will demographics also impact their destiny? And if you look at projections in our population from 2014 to 2060, you'll see these numbers. Most notably, a drop in the white population and a spike in the Latinx population. By 2060, it is projected that we'll have 65% students of color in our schools. Our minority will become our minority. Yet, what we're seeing is that white school districts are getting $23 billion more than districts serving students of color with the same number of students. I know what you're all thinking. Man, that's about 23 Jay-Z's. So I just want to shout out Jay-Z for being hip-hop's first billionaire. And if we look at college enrollment rates, we see that Black and Latinx students make up about 36% of the population. Yet if you look at these numbers, what we're seeing is that 45% of Black students and 35% of Latinx students are dropping out during their course of their 6-year journey. And this goes beyond college. If you look at income and wealth, we see that Black families are making 10 times less than white families. I want to take this time now to show you and tell you a couple of stories that prove that demographics do not impact destiny. I want to tell you about Jonathan Luna, one of my students when I was principal at Lock Tech High School in Watts. Jonathan Luna came to this country at age 12 with his mother. He crossed the Arizona desert, not speaking a word of English. He arrived in Watts, enrolled in our school, and the summer of his 9th grade, his family moved away, but that did not stop Jonathan from commuting, waking up at 4 a.m. and commuting 2 hours each way to get to our school. 5 years later, he was able to finish as class valedictorian. So when you hear stories like this, you can't help but get fired up about the power of changing our destiny. I want to also tell you about our PBL champion this year, Billy Martinez Elementary, a school with 90% Latinx students and 92% free and reduced lunch. Billy Martinez was, in 2017, spent 4 years on Colorado's Department of Education's accountability clock, meaning that they sat in the bottom 2 accreditation ratings for their state. 1 more year on this clock would have meant they either had to shut down or convert to charter. But they've been implementing PBL for 3 years now, and just last year, they were ranked by the board as a school of innovation. Proof that change comes through PBL. Last year, we trained 26,810 teachers through our workshops. For those of you wondering, that is the size of 19 times the audience that we have here this morning, just last year. And over time, this is our impact. PBL has so much potential when it's offered to everyone, and ensuring that all students get access to PBL is all of our business. It is our calling, our challenge, and our urgency. Every day when I wake up, I choose to stand for students that look like me. I choose to fight, I choose to advocate to make sure that all classroom doors can open up to the power found through PBL. We must choose to be a force for change. We must all wrestle with our fears, roll up our sleeves, and do what needs to be done for the children. This is a pipeline that often results in fatal consequences for our students. Yet we have to face it and do the work of disrupting systems that were designed to do the very things you saw in these stats that I pointed out. I'd like to now introduce you to some students that are doing the work with us, and they're gonna help us face this together. But before I do this, I'd like to tell you a little bit about their project. Last year, a group of students from Tam High School in Marin embarked on a journey to make a documentary. They chose to tell a story about Ralph J. Bunche in West Oakland. And here is their story.
Imagine a world where your 3rd grade reading level can tell you whether you'll end up in prison, where your race determines whether you'll be kicked out of school, where your record means you won't be helped, and where no one believes in you. Now stop imagining, because that's the reality for thousands of students in Oakland, California. Because of their race and their lower socioeconomic standpoint, these students are prone to trauma from a very young age. Say, for example, they have an incarcerated parent. Trauma like that can often lead to the development of behavioral issues, which in turn can cause students to be suspended or expelled from school based on zero-tolerance policies. These policies target even minor nonviolent offenses, and because they can be somewhat arbitrarily enforced, and also because of conscious or subconscious racial bias, they overwhelmingly target Black and Latino students. Being suspended in 9th grade doubles your likelihood of dropping out, and high school dropouts make up 68% of the federal prison population. Being connected to the criminal justice system in that way exacerbates trauma in surrounding communities of color, which in turn is more likely to lead to behavioral problems in kids, and so more suspensions and expulsions. This phenomenon is commonly called the school-to-prison pipeline, but as you can see, it's less a line than a vicious cycle. It's a national emergency, and worse, it's a local emergency too. This is Ralph J. Bunche. Well, this is Ralph J. Bunche, but this is the Oakland high school named after him. On the outside, Bunche might look like any other school, but behind its gate, something special is happening.
I got tired of seeing kids kicked out of school. Got tired of seeing kids not listened to, not being understood, nobody caring as to whether they become successful or not.
This is Principal Betsy Steele. For the past decade, she's led the effort to introduce programs at Bunche which aim to stop the school-to-prison pipeline, programs called Restorative Justice. Restorative justice is not so much a subset of justice as a different view of it entirely. Instead of just identifying an offender and coming up with a punishment, everyone involved in an incident, the offender and the victim, and anyone from the surrounding community, can sit down and discuss it. Why did this happen? Who was hurt? What can we do to fix it?
I would define restorative justice as a process, a tool, and a way of working with individuals and families and communities to become whole people.
Bunche takes a whole school approach to restorative justice, meaning that the fundamentals of it are rolled into everything that happens here. It's not just something they do, it's almost who they are. And that's because restorative justice emphasizes community and relationships. You build each other up instead of tearing each other down. And maybe that sounds corny, but you can feel the impact of this when you walk into Bunche. People are so close with each other. It's so tight-knit.
At my last school, we didn't have restorative justice, and that's kind of why I'm here. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been sitting here calm, I was really mean and rude to people because of stuff that was bottled up inside me. But being here, I can express myself. I'm in culinary class.
All right, Chef, should we do another big chocolate?
I used to tell my mom, you have to feed me for the rest of my life. I'm never getting a job. But now I have a job. I'm getting ready to go to culinary school. I have job offers for culinary because of Bunche.
What are you doing now? Get right here. White? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have to get them into a skilled track or a destination track. It's called work-based learning, so that they learn the skills of work before they go into the workplace. Because once they get into the workplace, the challenges that they're going to run into already, just being children of color, are phenomenal.
The leaders at Bunche are doing everything they can, not only to get kids off the school-to-prison pipeline, but to get them ready for the world beyond high school. They provide students with college and career training, opportunities for internships, and artisan programs, like this one, culinary class.
Man, you still trash.
So, can you guys tell us what you're making here?
Holiday tree bark. This one's white chocolate without peppermint, and his is with peppermint. We're trying to make about 50 pounds today. Only thing is, chocolate's really messy.
Jenny, hey, please tell me. I know when love.
Someone didn't temper the chocolate.
Maybe your hands are just warm enough to melt it. Or maybe it's just your heart.
Programs like this are a part of restorative justice, too. Besides engaging kids in school, they also give students a space to express themselves. Take Bunche's music class, where students write, record, and produce their own songs.
Lately I've been really feeling like, who the fuck can I trust? Not a soul, I've been feeling like I'm losing it. Drugs and alcohol, bad things, I've been using it. I ain't going back and forth with you on that confusing shit.
That was a bar. That's cool. You cussing too much. What you said? Once, 2, 3, 4. That's too many times. You got to go deeper. Get you're a lyricist. You're a poet. Think.
I know a lot of kids that go here who was into other things before they got here that wasn't gonna get them nowhere in life. This one boy last year, he graduated with a 4.0. And he had a 0.00 at his last school. So Bunche doing something for us. I say it changed lives.
The emergency of the school-to-prison pipeline isn't something that we can solve overnight. It's not just what happens that needs to be changed, it's why. Why does a student act out? Why do we target Black and Latino students over others? Why do we punish instead of heal?
Schools as they exist are not working. And they're especially not working for our children. So there's a lot of work to be done. Miles to go before we rest. Miles.
I'd like to now welcome to the stage the students who made this documentary and the students featured in this documentary. Come on up. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure they saw the standing ovation. So I was just, did you see? Look at the audience. So thank you all for being here during your summer breaks. We really, really, really appreciate your time and that you're having a conversation with us. So I'd like to first ask our TAM students, tell us a little bit about this project and what led you to making this documentary.
Sure. Can everyone hear me? Great.
Oh, if you can introduce yourselves and your grade before you talk, that would be great.
Sure. I'm Newlon Wright, and I'm a junior. And Iso, me, and Paige are in a program called AIM, where we make short documentaries every semester based on a prompt given to us by our teachers. And this past year, our prompt was state of emergency. And when I heard that, I really wanted to bring a topic to my group that I felt was important for us to learn and for our classmates to learn and our community to learn. And for me, that's really the inequalities that I see within my community around race. And so I thought that the school to prison pipeline, which I had been introduced to a couple years ago by a teacher, would be a really important thing to show to my group members and my classmates, because it's so prevalent everywhere in our society. And I mean, I don't think the people around me even knew what it was. I didn't know what it was until someone pointed it out to me. And I think that's really something that we lack, not just as students, but as just general community members. We need to know about this. And so we set out to make a documentary about the school to prison pipeline, and then introduce restorative justice as a tool to possibly stop this pipeline. But as we learned more about the Oakland Unified School District and Bunche in particular, we realized how important restorative justice is, not just to stop the cycle of the school to prison pipeline, but to really improve communities and improve lives. And we were so moved by the school, by their work in restorative justice, that was what we really felt like we needed to focus on and bring back to our community.
Great, thank you. This question is for the Bunche students. Talk us through how it felt to go through this documentary and what the journey was like.
The journey for this video was like really amazing, because we had people outside of our school district come in and see like what we do on a daily basis and like how our school function, and they were really interested, so I appreciate you guys for that. They came into our classrooms and they were really like motivated to like see what we do at our school, and making the video was really cool because they came to our volleyball practice, they came to our culinary class, they tried some of our candy. Like, we really had fun making this video.
Thank you, and can you introduce yourself to the audience?
I'm Julia Ambrose. I'm a senior at Ralph J. Bunche.
Thank you. This next question is for all of you. What would you like this audience to know about your school and community that you felt was not featured in this documentary?
My name is Paige Hartquist. I hope everyone can hear me, yeah? Okay. I'm also a junior at Tamalpais High School. But through this experience, we went to RJ Bunche and we experienced firsthand, this completely different approach to learning with restorative justice. And it created a way better environment in their school, and it included every student and their personal needs, and it opened my eyes, and I think my other group members' eyes, to how much my school could improve. We're a part of this predominantly white bubble in Marin, and a lot of the time issues regarding, students of color or students from lower socioeconomic backgrounds are ignored or not taken as seriously. And we really hope that our documentary can bring or shed light on this issue that maybe isn't being recognized as much, because the school to prison pipeline is a really prevalent issue in our community, but a lot of other communities, and it's not really being seen. And I think that's really important to create equal education for every student.
Hi, I'm Timothy Suisala. I forgot the question because of all you beautiful people out here. Thank you for coming.
It's what do you want them to know about your school or community that was not featured in the documentary?
Oh, okay. What I would want people to know about the documentary is that Ralph J. Bunche built a community. Restorative justice built a community. It wasn't teacher to student, but it was a person to person. And that's what I liked about it.
Thank you. This next question is also for both sets of students. So having both gone through project-based learning at your school, what's the secret sauce? What do you feel is so powerful about PBL?
So, hi, I'm Iso. I'm a senior, or I was a senior at TAM. I graduated last week. Thank you. I think project-based learning, like you touched on earlier, Dinah, it's so much more engaging for students just because we're able to become completely immersed in one topic and we're able to go out and learn about it hands-on like we did with this documentary, and that's just not something that you can get from inside a classroom. And so whereas conventional curriculum like textbook learning, classroom learning, I find that tends to emphasize traditional academic skills like research, writing, studying. Whereas with project-based learning, you get that, and you get a whole nother arsenal of other skills. Because when you're interacting with a topic in that way, it kind of changes how you're looking at it, and it changes how you're thinking critically about it, and how you're looking at what's happening around you. And so you end up with what I feel is a much broader skill set. Because with making these documentaries, we've learned, Paige, Nunu, and I, we've learned to work collaboratively with each other. We've gone and visited places and met people that we otherwise never would have met, and so we've learned to communicate with people who come from completely different backgrounds than we do. So that's really valuable as well. And then also, just the rudimentary skills of filmmaking, because AIM has inspired me to pursue film in college next year. So I already have a really strong foundation of all these skills, like how to operate a camera, how to operate editing software, how to conduct an interview. So that's really great for me, and those are really valuable skills in any career, any other projects that we might do. So yeah, elevator pitch. I think project-based learning gives you a much broader, much more solid skill set than just conventional learning.
Thank you.
I think project-based learning is good for our school because where we go, a lot of people hear continuation school and they think everybody's just a bad student. We just don't do anything, but we've done so many projects throughout our community with our school that I feel it's gonna help us in the long run. We did a pop-up restaurant and at our school, because we have a culinary program, and our goal was $6,000. All the students in my class, we got together, we made all the food, and we made $10,000 as a project. So I feel project-based learning is important because we get hands-on and we can just do what we love to do. We also passed out food to the homeless. We've done, since I've been at Bunche, we've done 2 Thanksgiving dinners where we invite the community to come out and have dinner with us, and the students cook the whole meal. So yeah, I feel project-based learning is really important because it helps us with what we want to do in our life instead of just right now in a classroom.
Thank you. My last question for the students this morning is, what advice would you give these 1,400 educators and leaders about what students most need in classrooms and schools today?
Just to keep in mind that for a lot of us, for a lot of students, school is basically our second home. So it's really important that students are approached holistically and that we're helped to grow, not just academically, but also as individuals. And also that like one type of education doesn't, excuse me, the one type of education doesn't work for everybody. So to keep in mind how education can be built around students and what students need instead of the other way around.
You go, I go, you go. Which way you want to go? So the advice I would like to give these people over here, educators, is to not only look at it through teacher to student, but person to person. That is a person. It's not just a student. You're doing something to their lives, you're inspiring them, and you want them to succeed. So from a person to person, make them feel at home, a community. They want that, they need that. That's what we need, community. Thank you.
You wanna go?
My advice to the teachers would be to love what you do. Like, students can tell when you don't want to be in a classroom with us. We can tell. So I would say just love what you do. Like, actually put passion behind the work that you give us or the work that you give your students. Actually engage with the students. Like, our coach is here with us right now, and he's been with us since day one. Coach is amazing. He teaches us sports, but he also teaches us the stuff that we need in life. So just make sure you love what you're doing.
All right, thank you again, students. Another round of applause for the students that were here with us this morning. Thank you, guys. Thank you.